Welcome to the Child Care Director's Chair, the podcast for bold educators who are ready to lead, grow, and shake things up in early childhood education. Whether you are a teacher eyeing that lead role, a lead stepping into leadership, or a center owner dreaming big, this is your space to grow with purpose and leave your mark. Hosted by heart-centered leadership coach Erica Sacoccio, each episode brings you real talk, actionable tools, and a contagious laugh or two, all designed to help you step into your next level with confidence. So pour your coffee, pop in those earbuds, and take your seat, because your leadership journey starts right now in the Child Care Director's Chair.
Hey guys, Erica here with the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. We are live at the Maine AEYC event. There is a sea of teachers everywhere. They are going into their first sessions. We are joined with our friend Connor today. He's going to talk a little bit about what he's doing in early childhood education and why he's a guy you need to know. So, Connor, the mic is yours. Tell folks a little bit about yourself.
My name is Connor Archer. I'm the founder, chairman, CEO of the Courageous Steps Project, and we operate the Step Forward Center in Milford, and we serve children all over the Eastern Maine region.
Okay. And tell us a little bit, for folks who are not familiar with your organization, tell us a little bit about what you do there.
Sure. So we started Courageous Steps in 2014 when I was a sophomore in high school at Old Town. And in 2020, we had an opportunity to take over a preschool program that has been a staple in the region and really transform it into a preliminary leader in inclusive education for our children, and especially ages 3 to 5 years old. In addition, we've added several services from home and community services to community support programs that have taken our programming to another level to make sure that we're helping the whole child succeed, and not just in preschool, but through that continuum even beyond early childhood programming.
Yeah, wow, that is pretty innovative. What made you come up with that idea? Like, where did that come from?
We saw a lot of needs with our families, and for us, it's important that we address the whole child, and we look at ways to support the whole child. So we did a big growth process over the past year to expand our capacity to transform our classrooms spaces as well, and to really think about how we are creating a program and creating programs that support all of our children, but also that keep our families connected for years to come as well. So even beyond early childhood, how do we stay connected with those families as they transition into public school? How they can still lean on us for support. That means something for us to be able to stay connected with those families, and to also help us be connected with those schools, which will be more essential, especially with the early childhood special education transition that's happening from CDS to the public schools by July 1st, 2028.
Yeah, I think too, as universal pre-K has really started to expand, I think that there's going to be a lot of collaboration with early childhood programs, private, nonprofit.
There has to be.
And they should have already been.
Right.
So, it's good that you saw that, this needed to be connected.
And there has to be from, not only from a sustainability point of view, but also to be able to access more options too. Our schools are, continuing, to face different challenges in certain regions of the state, like every community does. And those challenges, are due to some declining birth rates, or just due to, due to budget challenges. And we believe that we have a collaborative way of being able to come in, be a partner, and being able to support pre-K programming, being able to support home and community services, and early childhood special education, and do it in a way that our expertise can also help schools also innovate and be able to enhance their programming, and hopefully in a way provide them with some cool ways of enhancing their public school K-12 programming too. So it's this cool collaboration that is starting to come together. Yeah. It will take time, it will take hard work and commitment, but we're really eager and excited about all the work we're doing.
Is this program something you think will expand outside of Maine?
We would like it. So our goal is that we are going to have our state-of-the-art, location in Eastern Maine, and our goal is that we want to inspire others in the state, to duplicate the efforts we're doing in their own regions, because we can't do it alone.
Yeah.
We need others to to do their part, and we're not going to open 10 million step forward centers in our state,
Sure.
but around the country, absolutely. We believe that this can be a model of expansion in other states. We think it's necessary, especially when you invest in the child early. And I say invest, but when you make an investment early and you put the right supports around that
Yeah.
child, the difference you see from then to kindergarten even, and then
Sure.
to further along elementary school, that has not an immediate impact necessarily, because progress takes time and it's different for every child. But when we look at it in the long game and we look at it from the whole child and what their strengths, what their abilities are, that's going to help the child. It's going to help this, their future teachers.
Yeah.
And it's going to help ultimately them access, great opportunities, when they're finally graduating school and transitioning into adulthood. It's this ripple effect that by investing early, we're going to start to see that.
Yeah. I think it's a fantastic idea. I was asking if you were expanding because I would love to have something like this in our state in Rhode Island. So
Yeah.
are you gonna maybe go to different states and talk about the model?
Absolutely. And we're still early along in the development of this process, and we're learning things every day. There's a lot of, collaboration internally that's happens too, about, between our board, myself, our partners even, and I meet with state, officials all the time to brainstorm, school leaders as well. And, we enjoy the process of, being creative, sometimes, digging in, in a little bit to solve the, to try to find the solution, even when it's challenging. But the reward for us, is, we're creating something that we hope will be more beneficial for our kids, will allow us to better maintain consistent staffing as well, because, we want to address this whole, staffing shortage, issue as well. And there's creative ways to do that, from, offering different types of programming where staff can flex, between different programs with, as long as they're duly certified. And then looking at, other options, such as, collaborating with different agencies to be able to offer unique benefits that, maybe others wouldn't be thinking about, but that are very important to people. So it's going to take it's going to be a marathon to move this forward. We're excited about that, but it's going to take a village of people to make it happen, and we're excited about the village that's coming together. And we're eager to even expand beyond our Milford campus and hopefully really triple our capacity in the coming years, to be able to serve more children, because our children need our support more than ever, and we believe we can be the answer.
You said a lot right there, but your children do need a lot of supports, right? I've been in the field a long time. Educators that have been in the field a long time. We're seeing a lot of different things that we've never seen before. So not all educators are equipped with the behaviors that we're seeing. Um, I hate to say the parenting, but the parenting style is a little bit different.
Sure.
So there's a lot of things that have changed for educators.
We're in a different time.
We're in a different
We're in a
time.
different time. The pandemic certainly, I think exposed, some challenges that we already knew were there, but it heightened those significantly. And I think it made us all, realize that we have to adapt and change and do things differently. And there's not one way to do it.
Sure.
There's not one. What worked 25 years ago may not necessarily be the same today. And we have to accept that. We have to acknowledge that. And we have to work together to understand who do we need to bring to the table to support, the child with this intervention. And there's not one right or wrong intervention too. The child may, may be better in a group size therapy setting compared to one-on-one. And that's okay. That may be better anyways for them from an inclusive point of view, because they're participating with peers around them as well. Which prepares them for that public school, like setting too, where, in the public school setting, staffing's a challenge as well, just being able to provide those supports one-on-one. So if we're able to help prepare that gradually earlier and do it in a smaller, safe space, that's beneficial.
Yeah, very beneficial.
Right.
Very beneficial. I think some of the challenges that we're seeing too is that it's such an influx. Even though there are some great resources out there, there's just not enough. There's just not enough great resources people have wait lists a mile long. We have referrals to programs, and like nobody can get in anywhere. It's
Well,
bottlenecked.
and there's confusion too about, what eligibility of programs, especially, for programs in our home and community division where, obviously we know, the Medicaid cuts that were, passed. A lot of things are being said about what those cuts will do. And what we're trying to do is reassure families and say, yes, there are impacts that are in certain areas, but for this programming, we can help you identify that. So don't stop. Don't think that you shouldn't apply or shouldn't look into it. Do look into it because you may qualify. You likely will qualify or in different areas. We just need to work together and do it in a way that's streamlined and do it in a way that can be clear as well and concise. I think that's a big thing too. A lot of families get overwhelmed by the information that's out there, and we have to find a better way as partners, as state agencies and organizations like ours to work together to say, if we're in the parents' shoes, if we're in their shoes, and they get home after a long day, they don't have time to read through a manual of content. We need to put tools in place. We need to put strategies in place for families that help them navigate those answers quickly to be able to navigate services for their child who many families, all they want to do is find the best, find the best services, supports, and do what's best for their child. They may not know the answer, but I believe it's a responsibility of us, of partners at the local level, at the state level, and even regional level, to really work together to create a better way of navigating that. And we've certainly been helping with that, and we'll continue to.
Yeah, yeah. You're a smart young man, boy.
I'm only 27 years old, 28.
I'm an old lady. But you're a smart young. You're going to go quite far, and thank you so much for what you're doing. I think your ideas are brilliant, to be quite honest. All right, let me ask you a question. So you work with a lot of, you said leaders at the different levels.
Yeah.
What would you say? Advice for leaders out there that are like working with people like you? What advice would you have? Because I'm sure you've come across some folks who maybe have been very open and receptive and others maybe not so much. So what advice would you have?
Well, I think we've worked with local. We had state senate leadership come to our center just earlier this week and to our facility. I think just the willingness to collaborate and be open, with ideas. We may not get it right the first time. We may have to, process it, go back to the table, brainstorm it, and review it and see how do we look at this from a sustainable point of view. It's not easy to do that, and there could be disagreements with that. We certainly have disagreements about things all the time, even internally, but we find a common ground. And I think that's something we have to do more, is find common ground where we can, because, it's not the work we're doing is about our kiddos. And, I think, we can't let little things get in the way of that. We have to think about what can we do that today can help our child. Let's take today, take it day by day. Today, we're going to do this. Great. Victory. Yay. Let's do that. Tomorrow, we're going to tackle this. Great. Break it down too, because it is a marathon. We're all, especially our early child educators, they're in the trenches every day. My job is relatively, I shouldn't say easier, but they're doing the hard work.
Sure.
Our lead teacher director, Olivia, is doing the hard work. Our support staff, they are doing the hard work supporting our kiddos every day. My job is to give them the tools, give them the resources, and be their advocate, be their champion to ensure that, they get what they need, what they deserve, and that no one, and that they don't feel unsupported. They in my eyes, they need to be supported, and I'm a believer with that in every way. And if I need to go and knock on doors and have conversations with leaders and officials to solve problems, we're going to do it. I'm not a talker, I'm a solver. I'm a solutions person. That's who I am. That's what I believe any leader should be. You got to find solutions, even if it's hard. You got to work towards that, because our children depend on it, and our families too.
What brought you to early childhood education? You're an extraordinary young man. I mean, we don't get to see a lot of men in early childhood education, honestly.
Yeah.
Which stinks. I am glad that there are more. I love that you're a young guy, kind of, showing that there is space for males in our fields. I love that. But what brought you to TCE.
Yeah. So when I was 3 years old, I was diagnosed with autism, low functioning at the time. And I went to a really incredible early childhood nursery school, preschool program at the time that gave me the start that I needed. I wouldn't be talking to you today if I
Yes.
didn't have that start. I mean, that was instrumental for me where services were pushed in. Things were, I had, I met, I had a great team who supported me. I'm so thankful for that. And for me, and since I was 8 years old, I always had this dream of being able to do the same thing that they did for me. Different but same type of way. And when the opportunity came up during the pandemic to do that, and that's during COVID, by the way. So that wasn't, we had a proposal before COVID hit. 2 weeks later, the pandemic hit. Everything was shut down. We were worried that wasn't going to get done. I was worried that the nonprofit I started wasn't going to, be around. I think we all probably had that same reaction, like, oh my God, what's going to happen here? And but I was determined 3 months later to say, we're going to do this because it's not only important to the program, not only important to the organization's future, but the sustainability as well. We had to do it, and I'm so thankful we did. It's changed my life. It's really given me new opportunities as well. I've gone speaking around the country about transition, my story. Colorado, Arkansas, North Carolina, Mississippi, gone twice too, and it's really opened my eyes as well to finding ways that we can support our youngest kiddos.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the work that you do. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Yeah.
If there's any way I can support the work that you're doing, please let me know. And I gotta connect you with my guy Shannon Nestrin. I don't know if you know him, but he also has an amazing story. He's an amazing young educator as well. And you guys have similar paths.
Awesome.
So, all right, guys. So you have heard it here first on the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. We are live in Maine. Stay tuned. We'll be recording all day.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Child Care Director's Chair, where we believe leaders aren't born, they're grown. If something sparked for you today, share it, shout it out, or pass it along to the next bold changemaker in childcare. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with Erica Sacoccio for more real talk leadership tools and a whole lot of inspiration. Until next time, lead with heart, grow with fire, and always remember, the chair is yours. Now own it.